Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you want more videos on partners, do remember I have a playlist here on my YouTube channel on all sorts of topics, but also heart-to-heart parenting, inner work, mother-child healing, children with disabilities, homeschooling, all going the new way. But today I want to talk about 2 points about why we have to remember that we don't know best for our partner. Even when it comes down to them eating crazy stuff, doing crazy things, treating our children a certain way, the point being is the first one is we have to remember that we are all here on a soul contract. We are all here in light and dark. We have our moments of glory and we also have our moments of challenge. And it is orchestrated so beautifully that those challenging moments match up with a challenging moment that our children might be supposed to have, or with anyone else that your partner might be going out and experiencing. So who are we to judge what they are going through and to come and interfere with that? When we step in, it's like it basically puts that path even longer for them to come to their own realizations. Every time we step in, it just pushes it out even longer. And so most of the time, us partners are not the person that our partner is going to make that realization from. They're going to read about it. They're going to have someone walk past, mother, whoever it is, but it's probably not going to be us. So the way we hold space for them really counts as to how quickly they come around to seeing what they need to see. We don't know what they need to see, and it links in with our children's path too, particularly one, or depending on how many children you have, there'll be one or maybe a couple that will have that link that they need to have that experience of seeing their dad go down that shadowy path and then coming to, oh, this is what I've been through. Because when your partner's been through it and they've embodied it and they've realized, then they will have gold to talk to your children about, and they will be motivated to. It will just happen. And it's the gold that your children need to hear. Your children won't hear it from you because you always had that. It's something that just came easily to you. And so that is the real reason, family web type of stuff, we don't want to interrupt these paths. In saying that, it can be very tricky. And of course, there's a lot of buts moments, but hang on, how far do you let your partner go, especially when it comes to your children? And I know all of that. But what I want to say is first, is that for us as mums, the thing that we need to be doing is to going away, and whether we deep breathe, rock in the corner, whatever, is to allow this shadowy stuff to come. And it can be really and truly shadowy, but without allowing it and your partner to literally have that slap in the face moment, sometimes they will never come along to their own realizations. And so it's giving us false hope by saying, I'm going to give them this book to read, or I'm going to take them in front of these people, I'm going to get them to do this, I'm going to tell them how to parent. Some men are that, yes, sir, and I just want to keep the peace. And so they will say yes, and they will go along with what you're saying, particularly in certain ways. But the more we expect them to do what we say, their soul is clocking resentment to going, I'm actually doing what I'm told by basically like a mother figure, as opposed to allowing my own path and this person sitting here in trust and respect for me, that I'm a wise being too. So we must remember that our partners, like everyone here, is a wise being. We've all got a human suit on, which brings that light and dark stuff. And so the more we remember that, we can keep zoomed out when we see all this stuff. But we really must remember that they have motivations too, and they will follow them. And it may not be our motivations, but that is the perfect thing for us to find that balance. And there's a lot of detail to it, which I go on in my Harmonious Partners course a lot about, down to those details in everyone's scenarios. It's coming up next week, by the way. So that's the main part, is just to go, okay, my first thing is to remember my partner has a path of light and dark. It matters, and especially allowing them to go into both just as much as the other, so that my children can see how they do that and learn real life stuff better than your children getting to adulthood and still having to deal with that as well. I can sit here and I trust myself to work through and do my inner work of those emotions that come up when I get panicky and whatnot. And then, of course, there's another whole angle, which is another whole topic in itself, about how we come into our heart as women, and when we need to speak up and from the heart to our partners about this just doesn't feel right with what you're doing. Not to mention your power in you are creating your own reality. So that includes anyone that shows up in your movie, including your partner and your children, very much so. So with your mental body, that focus and what you focus on and what you visualize grows, you do have the ability to pull your partner into this new movie scene that you see. And it can be quite the opposite of what you see right now if you dare yourself to go there. And I talk from experience, I have, and that's how my husband, you know, without sounding egotistical, but he has flipped because I've kept, no, I see him as different, I see him as different. And I've gone through the triggers and all of that stuff and come out the other side to go, okay, I'll leave you to your path. And when he has, it's matched up then with my vision. So I've instead been more powerful in holding back, holding the vision and dealing with my emotions. And that's how things have gone forth. So that's the first thing to remember. The second part is often us as women, we're so focused on what our partners are not doing right and getting right on their shadows, we're forgetting to look at our own shadows and our own light. We're actually trying to do the work over here when actually the power is in the work in ourselves. And that means looking at our own shadows, particularly how do I feel when my partner shows up like this? It has big reflections of, you know, family line stuff of women being with men like this. So there's a whole lot of power in going within and doing that inner work and letting out all that old stuff that comes up. But let alone, it can just simply be, I don't want to look at my light and what I'm doing with my life or how I'm doing similar stuff with my children, that I'm not really seeing, you know, the stuff I don't like my partner doing with my children. I'm actually doing some similar stuff too. But it's much easier for my monkey mind, my ego self, to pick on my partner than self-reflect. So it's back in your lane and focus hard on what you're doing, not so much looking left at your partner and trusting that they are a wise being and they are going forth. And the more you do that, the more you start to see the magic to go, wow, they actually unravel themselves like I'm doing. And that's when we realize they are, you know, not as consciously awakened maybe many of the guys, but they actually are ascending and moving forward and coming to their own realizations just like we are, of course, like anyone is here on earth in their own way and their own timing. And so that's the biggest part that I want you to remember, is to come back to yourself. It's always the powers within you. Don't let it be a distraction. I've done it many a time trying to jump on and help my husband with his business because it's been easier to do that than face my own business and working out what am I going to do and all this. It takes a lot of energy because we are learning. It's much easier to jump onto something that maybe we're kind of good at rather than allowing our partner to have that experience for themselves. So please do remember, next week, obviously, if you're watching this later down the track, it won't be relevant, but the 15th of January, this Friday, sign-ups close for the Harmonious Partners course. It is an activating course. It's 5 weeks to give you golden keys, which was what I say is the earth rules. When my partner does this, oh, I could see it like this. When my partner says this, this is how I can come back, not react, but how I can respond. And then how do I see when I'm not in my heart? And that's always, our partner is a beautiful reflection of that. And I should say this includes ex-partners. They are just the same. It just means we're not with them, but they are still there saying, would you like to see the triggers that I'm bringing? Because it has relevance for you. And especially when we've got children, we're tied with them. Well, then of course, then it means, you know, even more so, they're still going to be in your life. So you might as well make magic out of it, because of the fact that then your ex-partner will turn around and unlock your children. So there's always that motivation. If you care about your children, well, then yes, you do care about your ex-partner and how they are. Keep your enemies closer kind of thing. But that's the magic in this course, is it's really about empowering yourself with whoever is coming at you. And other people have said in the courses, yeah, okay, now I've done that, I can see, you know, my in-laws, okay, I know what to do, because it's the same thing. It's just that often it's our partners that are, you know, right there in front of us, triggering us. So please do know you're not alone. There are so many men and women, you know, going through this stuff, working out who are we, how are we together. And what I want to do is explain why we're coming together, so you can see it is all perfectly orchestrated, especially within the family energetics with our children as well. So yeah, click on the link below so you can sign up if you'd like to or get more information. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because there's plenty more videos that I've already got done. So please make use of them and go back in history and find those ones. But suggest any other topics that you'd like me to talk about too. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.